I really want that music to play every time I walk into a room.
It doesn't.
Oh,
I have music that plays. Mine's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
oh,
Oh.
nice. I want to be able to walk into just like coming home from work and my boys are doing their homework and the music goes, "Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da." Like, oh, that's home.
Uh-huh. That would
How
be so sweet. Hi.
are you guys doing? Welcome to April.
Gosh, isn't it crazy?
It is moving way too quick.
Mhm.
We've only got a couple of questions. So here's what I'm going to put to the group. If you have a question and you just never emailed it in, we're going to do a little just like give you a second to say, "Ooh, I have a question that I didn't email in" at the end of our 3 questions.
Some live Q&A.
Some live Q&A. And now if you don't have any questions, then we're going to be done real quick. Well, I guess it depends on what the question is.
Sure.
It might be complicated. Okay, but let's dig right in. And I will read. Oh yeah, can you make that a little bit bigger for us, or can you read it? Maybe.
Beautify it. Let's see.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
You should be able to pin, and it will. There we
go. All right.
Wizard Team, Glenn Ruskin. April is our busiest month for our home builder clients. Each of them are challenging our creative team to make them unique and different. Interested in the experiences you've had with this category and what have been some of your most successful creative campaigns you've developed? Man, home building. My favorite campaigns I've ever heard is Jeff's for barn building.
Right. Jeff Sylvester.
Jeff Sylvester, but I wasn't a part of that team. I mean, my first, maybe you've worked with builders.
I really haven't worked with any, but I have thoughts.
Yeah, you start. Well, I have thoughts too.
So just like in any category, what you want to do is make them famous and make people think about them first and want to check their houses out. Right. So odds are that the other housing developers aren't going to be doing a whole lot. And so just do something that makes them special. Like, don't just talk about the houses, talk about the heart and the love that they pour into it. And, but entertain people.
Yeah.
That's the currency of attention these days. I just got done talking about that with a group that was here on campus, and they have something that's way more boring than houses. Houses are pretty exciting. And so
I'm looking to see. Glenn's not on this call, is he?
I don't think so.
I don't see the list all about that. Okay. Yeah, it shows like 6, but it's not showing all of them. That's weird. Maybe I scroll down. No. Okay. Anyway, so it feels to me, and maybe you guys could nod or but it feels to me like the heart of the question is, how do you make somebody special when you've got 6 clients all doing evidently the same service?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to assume no real differentiation between the 6. Like, they all think they're doing premium homes for a great price and high quality. And they all think they are willing to do custom work to make it your dream home. And they all think the same things that all builders always say. And I think, agreeing with Dave, you only have one way to make people like that different. And that's to talk about the only thing that they do differently across those 5 home builders. And that is the builder is the only difference. The person, the owner of the company, is the only difference between those 5. So you have to find a way to talk about the owner and why he's building homes and why it matters,
Mm-hmm.
and why you should care, and why you're like, I want that guy building my home because he gets it. And when you do talk about the owner, it allows you to talk about all 5 owners uniquely. And the one thing that you'll have to be careful of is that the copy all stops to sound like, oh, this is the radio station that introduces you to builders. So you'll have to figure out how they don't all have the same outline.
Yeah.
They don't all have the same beats.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only way to differentiate car dealerships, if they're all on the same radio station, or builders, or jewelry stores, if they're all on the same radio station, is to talk about the one thing that they do differently, and that's usually the owner and the person.
And if it's, I'm not sure if this question is a builder that just does custom homes for people, or is it a builder that has a development that they're building? And then you can talk about what a great place that's going to be.
Life in the development,
right?
Totally not a cult.
Well, it's yeah. What's it close to? Why would you want to live there?
Yeah.
But honestly, my hunch is that frequency is gonna kind of win the day
Yeah.
if you make him likable and he's on the air more than
The
most
other.
of the others.
Yeah, Glenn, I'm interested to hear more about. I mean, that's as specific I feel like as we can get with that broad of a question, which is just there's only one thing that's different between all of them, and that's the owner. I would love to hear more about like, give us an example of one of them, right? And what you know about them in the next month's thing. And now it will be through the busy season at that point. We'll be into May. I guess that's still a busy season. I didn't know there was a building I guess that makes sense because you're trying to get ahead of summer heat and things like that. I don't know.
Well, you got to
Who
wait
knows?
for the ground to thaw.
Yeah, that's true. It's Canada.
The Canada thing.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I hope that's helpful. And let's see what the next question is. Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Aw. Good day, wizards. That's how I hear that in my head whenever you write that. Can you give us an overview of your process for presenting a new piece of creative to a client? Yes, absolutely, we can. The last thing many copywriters want is to have to deal with creative objections. Yeah. In my experience, if the client wants to change something, it's usually the most impactful part of the commercial. Absolutely, because that's the one that makes them nervous. Have you mastered ways of minimizing the chances of being asked for a revision? Yes. And I will, speaking from experience, Dave's done this for 20 years. I've done this part for one. And it works like every time you think it's not going to work, and every time you do it, it's like, holy crap, that totally worked.
Well, so you write the ad, and you have the campaign crafted in your head, and so you know what the ads are going to be, and the client is still just basing it on looking at the words for the first time and might be sharing it with someone else. And so what you have to do after you write the ad is write an explanation of why you chose damn near every word in the ad. And here's why I opened with this sentence. And here's why this is a great follow-up for that because of this. And here's how we circle back around to the beginning at the end of it again. And so often, like for a 30-second ad, I'll end up writing 4 or 5 minutes worth of explanatory notes on how that ad was crafted. Now,
and honestly, don't ever let them read the ad without you.
Yeah.
Don't ever send the ad ahead of time, ever, under any circumstances. Their first view of the ad needs to be on a video call or a shared screen
or
call,
a phone call
while you walk them through the explanation first and then the ad. Not the ad and then don't do the ad and then defend it. Do the like.
Here's what I was thinking.
So
here's
the problem we were all having here to solve was this problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was the problem. It's like, okay, well, we know we can't see it like this, and we can't do this because that's illegal, and we can't make this claim. So we have to figure out how to say this, this, and this, and accomplish this purpose, right? Like, it's like, okay, read the first line, and then they read the first line, and son of a bitch, that's what you did. Yeah. That's exactly what you did. You're like, yeah. Now, the next thing we needed to accomplish, and you just say, and you basically just set them up for everything that you were thinking of to get to that creative decision, right?
And honestly, like that, this is don't share this one. Oh, we're being recorded.
It doesn't matter. We always shoot behind the curtain.
You can write the ad intuitively, just the way you would, right? You just sit down and you write the ad. Now go through it line by line and make this stuff up. Justify why you chose that.
And it's not making it up.
You're not really making it up.
Language.
You're finding it in your head, right? You instinctively wrote this ad and you know it to be a good ad. Now defend it, right? It's almost like you've created a thesis and now you have to sit in front of a committee and they're going to ask you questions and you're going to defend your work. Well, do that in advance so that you can send this explanation to the client. And it does, it works.
And that habit makes you a better writer. I've found when I sat down and wrote something that I know is great, and then I go back and try to figure out why is it great, which is literally what we teach at Wizard Academy. I always get a better understanding of my own mental processes by the end of that. Like, oh, and that's where there were some percolating things I knew I was trying to solve. And that sentence really just made me feel good. Why? And because it answers these things.
And you'll find yourself editing the ad as you go as well, because you'll say, well, I did it this way because, and then you go, I could do it a little bit stronger though. I could tighten that up a bit.
That was 4,
right? Yeah.
So my most recent one was I think I talked about this with you guys in the last call. I have a guy who got put in as marketing director for one of my clients, and they gave him the title of marketing director. And almost immediately he started screwing up the whole plan.
Being the marketing.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to change these ads because I don't think they're accomplishing. And so we had this thing where he had asked me, and he was starting to just treat me like his little writer monkey. That's like, whatever. I'm getting paid. And by the way, he's gone now. I outlasted him.
Oh, so that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He sent me this thing, and it was for a whiskey bottle. And it was but it's a hang tag that will hang on the bottle, right? And so we're doing this special edition bottle. And he says, hey, we need to put a hang tag that's like a card. It's just front, back, inside.
There's
left,
one.
right?
There's a hang tag on that one.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. So he says, and we need you to write some cool stuff for this hang tag. And what we need to accomplish is, and then he went on to list like 9 things. And this is on a hang tag that's maybe 2 inches square, right?
That maybe somebody's going to
maybe someone's going to open. Well, the whiskey was a whiskey that we called the Mother's Day blend. That the story was that the son created this blend for his mom for Mother's Day. That's the story that I wrote for this blend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew immediately what I wanted to do, but I'm going to show you how I did it with things. I'm going to do it to you. I knew exactly what needed to happen with this, but I also knew that if I just said, here's what we're going to do, he's going to be like, well, what about? And so I called him. I got on a call and said, hey, I want to get on a call and talk about this hang tag in person before I start writing things and before we talk about the plan. And what I want to talk about when we get on the call this afternoon is rhino, not porcupine, right? And the value of nerd answers. Right? That's what I want to talk about. And so I'd already prepped them for this because we got on the call and I said, okay, look, first, I just want to make sure that you understand, we've talked about this before, but this needs to be a single focused thing, right? We can't do a bunch of shitty, shallow points. We need one big impact, right? He was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't have a lot of real estate. And yeah, we need to make one really big, strong point. And I was like, okay, good. I agree. Thank you. Now, here's the other thing. Can we agree that somebody who's a real nerd is never going to find enough information on a 2-inch tag to feel satiated? They're always real nerds always want way more details than you can ever fit on a bottle. And so he's like, yeah, man, there's no way we could put enough stuff on there to make the nerds happy. I was like, yes. So can we just right now agree that feeding the nerds isn't what we're going to accomplish with this hang tag? We need to just walk away from that. He was like, yeah, I think you're right. I was like, good. Okay. Can we also agree that anything that's like a generic catchphrase, whatever, that could have been on a sticker or something like that, like we're not going to catch someone's attention from 8 feet away and get them to walk over and look at hang tag.
Yeah.
Right. So this is not an attention grabber. And he's like, oh yeah, no, they have to have already expressed interest in the bottle. And I was like, good. Okay. I agree. And I said, all we have left, now that we've eliminated all those things, the only goal is for someone to pick this thing up, open it, and feel good. That's it. Just open it up and feel good about this bottle. And he was like, yes, that's exactly what we need to accomplish. I don't know how we do that. And I said, well, I do. We make it a Mother's Day card. That's what we do. The hang tag is a Mother's Day card. And on the front, it has the picture of his mom. And when you open it, it says in his handwriting, to Mom from Jonathan. And on the right side, I made this whiskey for you. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God, that's perfect. I was like, yes, I know. Let's do it. and that's what we launched. And they printed them. They just printed last week. If I had walked into that and was like, here's what we're going to do with that hang tag. We're just going to make it a Mother's Day card. Immediately, that guy would have had all the other, what about all the facts? And we need to tell them what's in the blend because people like to know what's in the blend. And we need, and he would have taken it apart at the seams. But I sort of got him to agree to all the premises before we landed on the perfect solution to the problem.
Yeah.
And I've done that now for 8 different ads that I've written for these people. And every time it works.
Mm-hmm.
and every time it's the only one that works. And if I just send them the ad, inevitably within hours, I get back corrections, requests, edits. It all even these people know me and trust me. This is a friendly relationship, but still, if I don't say, here's what we're trying to accomplish, and so I did this. Here's what I was trying to accomplish this, and so I did this. That was a very long and ornate answer, but I feel like, does that make sense? And does that clarify everything, Kevin?
I do a follow-up. Yeah, that was excellent. I have a follow-up question. So, our sort of process for a client hearing first time hearing a new direction to radio commercials is we do talk about it up front, but but then we don't give examples. We talk about it. We have kind of a pre-planned talk, and then we just play the commercial rather than explaining a line and then revealing a line, explaining a line and revealing a line.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference between those two styles?
Yes, I absolutely explain the line, do the line, but don't do the audio. So like the way that you can do both, and this is as a musician, I've had to do this all the time in production with artists where it's like, hey, we really needed an electric guitar here. And so we laid in some electrics. When we get to this part, you're going to hear electric guitar. And then in this bridge, we knew it was missing some of this. And so I went and grabbed some vocals. And so when we play it, you're going to hear those things drop in and it really fills in the bottom of the bridge. And so you do something like that, the ad, which is like you take the written copy and you walk through. Here's why we did all these different things. And then when you're done explaining it, and then you say, now you're ready to hear the finished product. And they're like, yes, I can't wait to hear how you executed that on a radio ad. And then you're like, hey, hit play. And when it's done, inevitably everyone's like, it really did. Yeah. You nailed it.
All the boxes are ticked.
Yeah. And that works with artists too. And they're the hardest people to get to agree to shit.
I think also, to the best of your ability, make that explanation mirror the language and style of the client, right? So you're speaking the client's language when you're writing this and presenting it, especially if the ad is a bit of a departure from their normal style, and that's inclusive communication by design is what we call it. So you can get deep into the weeds with it by incorporating all kinds of Myers-Briggs techniques to make sure that you're explaining something in language that kind of meets all four needs too.
With the Mother's Day card, Jonathan, the one who actually did this for his mom, I told him what we were going to do, and he was like, "Oh man, I think that'll be the first Mother's Day card I've written my mom since I was in like 8th grade."
That's awesome.
Because that's just not their vibe, right? And so doing this super endearing and affectionate thing publicly for his mom is not in his nature at all, but it is in his heart. Like, he cares about his mom, right? And so I had to sort of be like, we're doing this, Jonathan, because you do care about your mom, and this is going to let people identify with how you feel versus what you actually say and really do. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. I probably should be writing her more cards.
And maybe somebody's going to, honestly, people are going to buy a bottle to share with their mom.
That's exactly the plan. Yeah. Okay. Y'all good, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. It always, we always have to reiterate this, but if you're handling clients correctly, it always takes way more effort up front than anyone ever wants to spend. Like, everyone always budgets X amount of time and then they spread it across the life of a client. When in reality, you need to, if you have a 100% pie of time to accomplish something with a client, you need to spend like 70 of it in the very, very, very beginning to allow you to actually accomplish everything that you want to do over the next rest of that pie. And that's in every meeting and sit down. That's in over the lifetime of a campaign in a year. Everyone is always surprised at how much upfront explanation, preparation, and care it takes to really manage all these conversations and ongoing accounts. It's not just like put it on a calendar, call every week, and you're good. It's like, it doesn't really work that way.
This shows the client that you put a lot of work and a lot of thought into something. Honestly, if you're just a really good writer and you can sit down and type out a new ad for a client in 5 or 10 minutes, and then that's often the way it ends up happening. Never let the client know that.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I've been working on this one for a week
Yeah.
and I've been fine tuning it. Or if they say, "Hey, I need a new ad by 3 o'clock," well, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll
So,
see.
even if you can, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can do that. And because they need to believe that you're spending way more time thinking about them than maybe you actually are.
Well, and the reality is also, I've written an ad on Monday that was due Friday. And then sometime around Thursday afternoon, I'm thinking about it and I go, you know what? That line needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it takes like, you think you're done
Yeah.
and then you marinate on it to the due date and you don't turn in early and you
Yeah.
get a chance to improve it before. I would imagine you work that way.
And that's
more
almost
than I do.
always the
Yeah.
case, right? It's like, even if it looks like I'm writing the ad in the last minute, I've been stewing about it
Yeah,
for a week.
exactly.
So,
So supposedly Boomer put in a third question in here because they would only had two. Oh,
question from Paul Boomer.
oh, great. A personal journey question
Oh, man.
from Boomer, of course.
Own journey.
When you reflect on your own journey in this field, I'm assuming consulting. What?
Yes.
Not like
Yeah.
10 acres of
Consulting, marketing, consulting.
Yeah. What unexpected insight about human connection has most transformed your approach to crafting messages? How has that understanding changed the way you support your team's clients in creating work that feels both authentic and effective?
For me,
Yeah, go.
it
I need a second.
honestly, this all kind of always goes back to Myers-Briggs and people's temperaments, people's own internal operating system, if you will. And that started with my very first Magical Worlds class 25 years ago in Buda. The first time I heard Dr. Grant talk about how you can use these ideas of temperament and people's own distinct ways of communicating to just be able to communicate in ways that meet somebody else's needs and not just yours. Because left to your own devices, you're going to just communicate in your style.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can recognize differences in other people and change the way you approach them, that's going to help you build a stronger team. It's going to help you relate more to your clients, and you're going to create the work that feels authentic and effective, because it will be, right? It's just going to be more inclusive.
I think mine is in the same direction as Dave's, but it's different, but it's probably has the same heart behind it. When I first got into this side of things at Wizard Academy, it's been this would be the 12th year, I guess.
Oh.
And 12 years I've been here. When I first got in here, I thought what I was going to be learning was marketing tricks and strategies and how to convince people to do good marketing, and that there was some objective idea of good marketing that I needed to sort of like herd everyone towards.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like, here's the good marketing top of the mountain. And every time I have a client, my job is to figure out how to drag them to the top of that good marketing mountain. And as I sat in classes, I understood this more and more, and starting to have my own clients over the last 2 years has just quadrupled down on this actual thing, which is that the truth is that there isn't some high water mark of this is the only way to do marketing and everyone needs to be shoved towards it. There are strategies and approaches and things that help and improve, but the real goal of working with a client is to make a human being feel seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me like, okay, I had the similar, this is Boomer, you did this. So guys, sorry you're into this. I had a similar correlation in sales when I had one person, when I used to do sales, actually finally tell me, he's like, you hate selling, Daniel, because you think that the job of selling is to make people buy shit. But real people who do a long-term great client relationship in selling understand that selling is providing a service to somebody. And your job is just to find the people who need what you provide. And it's the shitty salespeople who try to shove things down people's throats and then they don't get repeat clients. It's the people who view selling as a service that get repeat clients, right? And I went, oh, it's human. Okay, I can sell like that. Because my goal isn't to convince somebody who doesn't need this that they need to give me money.
Yeah.
And I felt the same thing about marketing. And that currently that revelation has been like, oh, I don't need to get Iron Republic to toe the line on this objective reality of the only way to market. I need to figure out the soul of Jonathan and Robert and Marcia and who they are and why they give a shit and what they believe and how it influences what they do.
Right.
And then I need to help that them be seen through their product, so that the people who are also like, you know what, I feel the same way about the world, also feel seen. And that combination of them being heard and feeling seen by each other, and then the customers and consumers also feeling seen and heard, and then connecting, that's the real magic of all of this. It's not some shtick try to get people to do shit. It's the most human thing I think you can do in business.
So it comes down to you, Daniel. It's about connection, and I want to bring it back to the question, Kevin's question. Okay, how do you do this?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's connecting with the person that you're trying to share the ad with. That's all it's about.
Yeah,
and that
And
goes
then the ad
for
job-
selling and everything.
Yeah. The ad's job is to make a connection to the audience,
Mhm.
right? To continue that connection,
yeah.
and be memorable in a way that endears them to the client. So yeah,
I've been 4 uncovery days, not 5. I've been only 5 uncovery days now, in my career of doing these things. Every single one of them, at some point in the day, the client says some version of, man, this feels like a counseling session now. Like, I feel like I should have paid you to be my shrink or something. I'm understanding and seeing things about what motivates me that I've never actually considered or thought about before. And I think that's a marker that we're doing it well.
Yes, I know that because I've been called a business therapist many times.
yeah. I was gonna ask you, Paul, how did we do on the?
You did
question?
fabulous. You did exactly
know
what I
the
wanted you to do. I wanted to connect all the dots. So well done.
There we go. Connecting all the dots. Okay. I think that's all of our actual questions. Is anybody, let's throw it to the audience. Isn't that what they say in showbiz?
I think so.
Let's throw it to the room.
Hey,
Anybody
everybody.
have any questions ongoing after that or comments?
I have a totally different question. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jackie, who's on with us today, Jackie and I were out meeting with a craft distillery, vodka.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
I have immediate reservations, but they're distiller reservations, but I'll go ahead.
Yeah, as I pointed out to this guy, the measurement of a great vodka is the less flavor it has, the better it is. So it's
Yeah.
kind of different from marketing other distilled products. So here's the business reality that we're in the governmental regulations here. He is licensed as a craft distillery,
Right.
which means he can produce up to 350,000 liters.
Right. Before he is no longer, and now he has to follow all the other rules.
Yeah, and
I know
And
all
it's-
those rules.
and it's simply not profitable for him to produce one more liter than that.
No, one
Yeah.
more leader and he goes bankrupt.
That's right. Yeah. So he found himself in an interesting situation this past year where 8 months in, he had to stop selling.
Yeah.
He just was off the market. And so great, you hit your cap. And he's gonna get a different license for a different product, but to grow. But in the meantime, obviously he's made a good impact with Alibi Vodka. And so my question is, what do you do in those 4 months?
I can answer this so fast.
Okay.
Vodka's job.
Oh, I was hoping the answer was Cabo San Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
That too.
craft guys don't make that much money. The answer is vodka's job. If we're being, and this is, not a vodka snob, true vodka snobs are a whole other breed. But I believe that vodka's job is to make things alcoholic. Right? That's really its main point in life, is to take something that's not alcoholic and make it alcoholic with the minimum amount of flavor alteration. Right? So you like tomato juice and health food and celery, but you want to have a little drink in the morning? Let's do a Bloody Mary. This guy needs to figure out producing things that you put his vodka into that are not alcoholic, but that are on theme and on brand with recipes and all of that. And as soon as he hits his cap, then he starts holding events where he just tastes you through all of the stuff you can do with his vodka. That's it. That's the shortest version. Now it's a whole other thing because now you're into food grade licensing. And so you have to follow food grade rules and, back of label, health calorie percentage breakdown requirements. This is not a small, it's not a small ask.
You could start by making kits with pre-existing products and
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a thing like you already bought the vodka. Hopefully you still have some left. If not, there's probably some on shelf somewhere. Here's the kit to make your vodka last a little longer.
Can you make just extra strong vodka so you don't have to sell as much?
I mean,
And then you call it vodka from concentrate.
yeah, no, you can't.
No,
'Cause
that's
they based it on proof gallon.
Okay.
And so like the reporting is on the volume at 100 proof.
this is why I'm not at this.
And so if you release it at 40% alcohol, you run different math, but either way, it all adds up to the same volume at 100 proof. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not by like a weight basis or a volume metric. Yeah. Anyway, that's the first one, right? But this person needs to actually give a shit about that. Like, right, making their own Bloody Mary, perfecting their own Bloody Mary mix, perfecting the lemon martini that you put vodka into. You know what I mean? Just premix type things. Even food recipes that require what do you call it when you lighten the flambe?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Anyway, yes, that would be one thing. And that's just off the top of my head. There's a handful of other things that you could do, but what I would recommend if you want to help this guy out is to remember this thing. Good artists borrow, but the great artists steal. Go figure out what other vodka producers are doing. Just Google all them famous, not the big brands, because they like Grey Goose, fuck that. Those guys just sell Grey Goose. But I'm talking about the other craft vodka makers. What else have they done to expand their footprint and their brand and their territory? And then find one that your guy was like, that's cool. I could do my own version of that. And you're done. Just steal it, rebrand it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Does that offer any like glimmer of hope for this guy for 4 more months out of the year?
Well, it gives me a couple ideas because he is getting a license for ready to drink cocktails that will have his vodka in it.
There you go. So this is the dude. He's already heading down that path.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm wondering, before this, I was wondering, and you gave me a new twist to it, but it wouldn't make sense for him because he still has ad budget that he can use. And would it be to talk about some of these recipes and actually say, I hope you have some of our vodka left because we can't sell any right now.
Yes. That would be the greatest ad on the planet.
This is how you make a seizure.
Can I sell you anything?
Yeah.
That's a dream ad. I wish.
We'll be back in January.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend 4 months, people going like, man, and you, if you want to really make them kind, you can be like, look, I'm telling you right now, this is best with our vodka, but I currently can't sell you any because I hit my annual cap. So for now, just get some random vodka off the shelf and just wah. But in January, I want you to see what it tastes like with our vodka, and you'll see why I designed it the way that I did.
Get on our mailing list, and you'll be the first to when we have access, when we have supply,
and you'll get to try this recipe the way that it was intended, instead of the way that you had to take it. But I still even love the line. It would be one sentence. I really hope that you have some of our vodka because I can't sell you anymore right now. Just that one sentence needs to be repeated in almost every ad. I really hope you already have some of our vodka. So I can't sell you any right now. Or maybe you know a friend who has some of our vodka. But if they do, then here's how you make it last for the next 4 months until we get to January when I can sell you another bottle, is quit drinking it straight.
Well, and if this succeeds, next year's supply will be gone by June.
Yeah. And then we need a new plan, guys.
Yeah. Bring this guy to Magical Worlds, Kevin.
Oh,
And
we would have so much fun with this. I could write his whole campaign in a couple of hours. This would be so much fun. Oh man, just remember that your strength is your weakness. And this is a huge weakness to run out of product as a business owner for a fourth of the year or a third of the year. That's insane, right? But man, does it give you a really absolutely astounding strength thing to talk about that no one could possibly match because no one would wish for it. Like you're backed into a corner no one in their right minds would ever ask for. And so you get to say and do things no one's ever going to say or do because no one's ever going to want to be in that position. And that's an amazing position to write from. That's some really fun, creative handcuffs. Oh, God, I want that client. I wish I wanted a client like that. It'd be so much fun. Okay. You guys don't look at this as a negative. You guys are in like just this golden moment. If this guy has a sense of humor, you're going to blow the doors off of this thing.
mhm.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else have?
And show him this video and tell him I'm so excited. 'Cause I'm so excited to hear these ads. And I want to play them in our class as examples of weakness turned into strength.
Mhm.
Cause this will be like, you couldn't write shit like that without this opportunity. Cause otherwise someone's just gonna be like, well, that's a made up ad. No one's ever gonna be in that position.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't run out of vodka.
actually.
Real scarcity.
Anyway, any other questions? All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Only a few questions. It was fun, as always.
Mhm.
And send in more questions. And until next time, have a great April.
Bye-bye.